for a deeper look at the situation in Benue, especially as the president is expected to visit. I'm now joined by an expert in internally displaced person, Jonathan Ichave, as well as a public policy analyst, Sesu Akume. Good to have you both tonight. Let me start with you, I mean, because you are aware of what it is like for people who live in IDP camps. Some have said that the call from the president asking these people who are being killed to live peacefully with those who are out to kill them is flawed in its entirety. What is your thinking? Is the president not doing his job, asking them to live in peace, or is it really as insensitive as people are making it out to be?
Good evening. Thank you for having me on. It's both. The people who are displaced, we've had a crisis on our hands, a displacement crisis, since at least the first IDP camp, as a result of these terrorist headsmen attacks, was opened in Benue in 2001. So for 24 years, the Benue people have been subjected to these attacks, administration after administration. And you can imagine the level of trust is extremely low. Successive administrations have failed them, both at state and federal level. And currently, we have over 1 million people, if not almost 2 million, displaced. Therefore, some of them have not been able to go home for decades. Some have died in those camps. They buried their people. Now, to see young people who were killed and burned, we've seen all the videos, we've seen the pictures, then to come and hear, one, it was extremely insensitive. The president was ill-informed, ill-advised, and the person who, the buck stops with him, because he is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. His armed forces are failing. He is failing in his duty to the #1 purpose of government, according to Section 14(2)(b) of our Constitution, is the security of the people and the promotion of the welfare of the people. On these two fronts, the Nigerian government, the state government, and our local government have failed us woefully, and they failed these people woefully. To turn around now and blame the victims is not even just insensitive, it is wicked, it is disingenuous, and it is absolutely just beyond the pale. So when you go to the IDP camps, they're not even, they just want to eat and survive and go back home.
I need to take you up on something you just said about, I've had that comment on social media between those who are for and against, saying that making excuses for the president, saying he is probably ill-informed or ill-advised. Should we be making comments like that? Like you rightly said, he is the chief security officer of the state, and before comments are made about such sensitive matters, proper consultation should have been done, rather than, he might have been ill-informed, let's give him some break, he's busy and all of that.
Well, you're never too busy. I mean, when it's time for campaign, they're never too busy, right? They'll come, they'll go to the villages, they'll go to the inner places. When it's time to govern, it now becomes their advisor didn't advise them properly. I mean, for me, for example, fine, we know that you cannot run everything, but you get security reports. And if these killings are continuing, I mean, this year alone, Benue has suffered over 120 attacks. This Yelweta was just one in many. They've had Agatu, they've had so many, they've had Bagir, we've had Kwande. In December, Christmas Day, there was a massacre in Anwase. The question the president should be asking, and the national is, what is the National Security Advisor doing? What is the Commissioner of Police doing? All these are our formations we have here in Makudi. I mean, for goodness sake, we have, I think, 72 division, an army division, just down the road from there. There are several checkpoints. When I was coming into Makudi from Abuja recently, I must have counted at least 20 checkpoints. Crude, whatever, between...
Yeah, we'll come to you. We'll come to you again. We'll come to you again. But let's bring in Sesu and just take on something that my colleague brought up. And those are some of the demands he said the people are making ahead of the president's visit. He is saying that they are wanting to ask the president about, asking the president to question the use of security votes in the state, and also asked about the use of, just let's take that on first. The security vote, the question about asking the president to, is it appropriate and should they be asking that at this point?
The people were traumatized. We're traumatized. So you can't say what should be said at this time or not said at this time. The most important thing is we're traumatized, and so there are different questions that arise and so forth. So we can understand with anybody who says, but because there are so many questions to ask. First and foremost, you ask where the loyalties of the president lie, where the loyalties of the governor lie, whether they really care in the first place, and then you start from there and continue, and then you say, what happens to the repeated things we've been hearing over time, and so on and so forth. So traumatized people have so many questions to raise. So that would just be my answer.
You're very correct. You cannot be asking someone who is mourning whether a question is appropriate or not. So I apologize for that. They will ask questions that they want to ask. But let's talk about what the governor has said ahead of this visit. He has said that he does not subscribe to self-defense as being advocated in different quarters. We know that there are some social media activists who have come up to say that the residents should take up arms. I had a guest here yesterday that complained about the fact that those who come to attack them come with guns, but what they have is just machete and wounds to try and protect themselves. So tell us what your thoughts are on this.
Like I said earlier, everybody is wondering, every reasonable person is wondering where the governor's loyalties lie in the first place. That's where every reasonable person is asking. And it's not just people from Benue, it's every reasonable person. When you hear him speaking like he doesn't know where his loyalties lie and whether he's not very convinced about what he's saying, it raises so many questions. So the issue about he's not subscribing to self-defense and so on, it raises so many questions, because in the first place, like the person who talked about the terrorists coming with are armed and we are unarmed. Apart from that, we're deliberately disarmed. Even people who have arms that are weapons that are allowed, like Dane guns and so on, that can be licensed and people can possess them. You have like military people, for instance, come to our communities and disarm people deliberately, and having disarmed them, then the terrorists attack. And so you now wonder what's going on with the Nigerian state, whether this is not a genocide, because as far as the definition of a genocide comes in, this is a genocide because there's intent to kill people, to maim them, to dispossess them of their land, and to make them displaced and so on. It's very deliberate, and there's intent, and that's what makes it a genocide. And so you wonder where the loyalties of the government.
Cecil, I'm really sorry to interject, but we have very limited time left, so I'll just go to Iya quickly and ask her ahead of the visit. We've had the Benue State Governor ask people to come out to welcome the president with some, it's not the celebratory mood, so I wouldn't ask about that. Rather, I want you to talk about the fear that has been expressed. My colleague Joshua talked about this seeming fear of security agencies who are supposed to, security personnel who are on the ground to provide security. Is that something you've experienced? And how do you think a little bit of trust can be re-engineered if we are to make headway in a fight against these attacks?
Well, first and foremost, the governor is totally off by declaring a work-free day. This thing happened. He didn't even go to Yelewata until I think today, when the IGP came. What's he afraid of? 2, he didn't even declare days of mourning. This man did not come out this governor did not come out to address the people. Instead, he set security agents on people who were mourning and basically crying over their loved ones. They were shooting tear gas and they were gunshots. I think they even shot a couple of people. So I'm sorry, how do they think they will build trust with security, with the people? When they come to attack, the tanks that they sent in to attack protesters were noticeably absent when the people were being killed, of course there will be no trust. So Governor Alia, I don't know how he got himself into politics, but he's making all the wrong moves. He has not even declared mourning. He has not done anything to show. He has not visited the IDPs. I am talking to you. I know. I went to that camp. I went to another camp in Karaku, another village, another place where they displaced people from his bishop's village. He has not bothered to go there to visit them. I asked them. So the question is, does he really care? It seems all he cares about is basically being a sycophant to the president. Now, those are strong words, but that is how he is coming across. It is disgraceful, and the people are not impressed at all. So you saw also the memo that has been circulating that they should come out and all that. Now we've seen a memo from the person who sent out the memo about them coming out. It was as if they were mobilizing for political campaign. People are dying, and the governor or his team are concerned about their party.
All right, EA, again, let me quickly go to Sesu and just let's conclude the conversation with your thoughts. Like it or not, the president can make things happen when he is on the ground. So what would be your expectation from his visit, actionable expectation when he visits? In 40 seconds, please.
Well, in the first place, I don't know why he's visiting. If it's not, he's just succumbed to pressure and went, because it's not a priority to him in the first place. Because if it were, he would have gone there a long time before now. He would have been doing other things and going there as an afterthought. He also said, from his language, he's calling it clashes. These are not clashes. These are attacks. These are genocidal attacks, and so on. So if his thinking is not properly aligned, I wonder what he's going there to do. It not just for the photo ops to say that he actually went there and to come back and sit down. I mean, he has said he gave his service chiefs orders and they didn't obey them, and he gave them the same orders again. I mean, for goodness sake, which commander-in-chief gives orders and they're not obeyed and there are no consequences, and the commander-in-chief says they are giving the orders again? So, well, whatever politics they want to play or whatever it is they're doing, let him do it. But the most important thing is it has to have these priorities aligned.
Sesu and EA.
We'll start.
Thank you very much for speaking with us and for all you do for your people.
Thank you. Have a wonderful evening.
You too.